Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So here we'll be doing a complete walkthrough on the 2019 Key Stage 2 Maths test, and this is for our paper 2 reasoning, yeah? Now in this video, I want to go through a relaxed pace and make sure I go through every question step by step. So the most important thing is, guys, that if you're already planning to solve questions, when I get to the question, you could pause the video and have a go yourself and see if you get the same result. Or you could just watch me do it and learn how I use my techniques and apply it to yourself, guys. So without further ado, let's go straight down, yeah? All right, question 1. So in this grid, there are 4 multiplications. Write the 3 missing numbers. Okay, so for this one, we either work horizontally, so across, or vertically, downwards, yeah? So let's look at the first step. It says we've got 4 times 8, and it should give us 32. So that's a nice easy one. Another one we can go is downwards. So we've got 4 times 3, and this should give us a nice 12. All right, and lastly, we can go either 2 ways. We could do 3 times something is 21, or 8 times something 56. I'm gonna go this way because I think this way is much easier. So we need to know that 3 times something is 21, and we ask ourselves, okay, so how many 3's are there in 21? Well, there's 7, and yes, 3 times 7 is 21. All right, question 2. What number is 1000 less than 9072? Well, we just subtract a single thousand away from a 9000. So 9 take away 1 is 8, and we're left with 8072. Easy, guys. All right, number 3. So order the numbers starting with the largest, so this is the biggest value, and then match each number with its order. Okay, so an easy way to do this, just have a look at all the positioning of the numbers, yeah? So what do we have? So all of this is 1 millions. So then we look at the next digit. So we have 0, 0, 0, 2. So this is definitely the biggest. 1,200,000 is way bigger. So that goes here. So that's done. So we've got 3 more. And then we move on to the next digit. So the next digit would be the 0 here, 2, 0. So this is definitely the biggest because 2 is bigger than the rest. So that goes here. So look at the last 2. We move to the next digit. Well, this has got a 9, and that's got a 9, so it's the same. The next digit has got a 9, and this got a 0. So of course, this is the next biggest. So that goes here, meaning this one goes here. Yep, and that's it. So here is a shaded shape on a square grid. So now we got to reflect the shape in the mirror line. Ooh, not bad. Use a ruler. So keynote, guys, yeah? Always listen to the keynote. Now for me, I'm going to do it freehand. So the trick is, yeah, you look at the mirror line and all you do is just measure the distance between the mirror. So if we look at this corner here, this is 1 block away. So it must also be 1 block away here. So it goes here. And then we just extend the line by 3 dark lines. So change color of my pen. It goes 3 across. So again, use a ruler, guys, yeah. Now just pick another corner. Let's pick this one, yeah. And we know that this is 3 blocks away. So let's draw 3 lines here. So it must be 3 lines across, meaning it's over here. So that's that corner here. So it's quite easy, it's inwards. So it must go inwards here as well. So carefully sketch it. And notice how this one goes all the way up, the back end. So it must go all the way up until it matches the same height, so around here. And then we extend it 2 lines inwards, so 2 lines inwards. And then match it with the point you made. So again, use a ruler. And it should look something like that. Bit more accurate though. And that's it, guys. This is done. Okay, number 5. So the numbers in the sequence increase by 45 each time. Okay. Write the missing numbers. So because we know everything's going up by plus 45, plus 45, this means that the next number, which will be 245, add another 45 should give us a 290. And guys, you can use a column method if you're not sure how to work out the number. And again, you add another 45 here. So 290 plus 45, you can do it mentally. 0 plus 5, oops, is 5. 9 plus 4 is 13, so 3 carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, so 335. And again, you have to also find the first digit. And we know that at that original number, you added 45 to get to this number 155. So we need to subtract 45. So subtracting 45 is easy. It should give you 110. So here we need to write the missing number to make this division sum correct. Okay, so this is a direct answer. So we need to know that 0.3 divided by something will give us 0.03. Now looking at both of these numbers carefully, we can see that they kind of look the same, except that the decimal places seems to have moved one to the left to end up looking like that. And the only way this happens if you divide by either series of tens like 10 or 100 or 1,000 and so on. If you divide by 10, it moves one place, 100 two places, 1,000 three places, and so on. Because it moved one place, you must have divided by 10. And that's it. Alright, question 7. So Jack pours some dark paint into a container. Ooh. In liters, how much paint is in the container? Alright, so let's look carefully here. So it went from 5 to 4, and this must be in between, so 4.5. 4 to 3, this must be 3.5. Looks to me they went just halfway down, so this must be 2.5. So how much paint is in the container? Well, 2.5 liters. Question 8. So in this sequence, guys, the rule to get the next number is by multiplying 2, then adding 3. So write the missing numbers. Okay, so let's forget the first term for a second, yeah? How do we go from 25 to 53? Well, according to the rule, they multiplied it by 2 first to get 50. So 25 times 2 is 50. Then 50 plus 3 is 53. So let's repeat the steps here for the next one. So firstly, let's multiply 53 by 2. So 53 times 2, well, doing this quickly, 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 2 is 10. So you get 106. And then you add 3 to this one, so plus 3, and you should get 109. So that's one done. Now we're going backwards, so let's think about going backwards here. Now, if I wasn't sure what to do, I would look at this term and say, okay, instead of adding 3 in the final step, we're going to subtract 3. And instead of multiplying by 2, we're going to divide 2. So let's take it for 25 now. So 25 subtract 3 is 22. And then dividing it by 2 will give us 11. And that's it, guys. That's the 2 things done. All right, number 9. So Jack chose a number. So let's call this number, I don't know, x, yeah? He multiplied that number by 7, so 7 times x is 7x. He then added 85 to it, so it will be 7x plus 85. The result was 953. So all of the result equaled 953. What number did Jack choose? Okay, so this is an algebra way of doing it. So all you have to do is basically go in reverse, yeah? So looking at this equation, to go backwards, we can say, all right, instead of adding 85, we're going to minus 85 first, yeah? Once we do that, instead of multiplying 7, we're going to divide by 7. And finally, that will give us our answer. So let's do it. So 953, take away 85. So doing this step by step. 3 can't take away by 5 because it's too small. So borrow from this neighbor, the 5. Take 1 out, so it becomes a 4. And then just give the 1 to 3, so it becomes 13. So 13 minus 5. That's 8. And 4 take away 8 you can't do, so borrow from the 9. That becomes an 8 and give him the 1. So 14 take away 8. Ooh, that's 6. 8 take away nothing is 8. So it looks good so far. Now we're going to divide this number by 7. So I'm going to do this on the side, yeah? So it's going to be 7 into 868. I'm going to use a bus-stop short division method, yeah? So no long division problem here. Now let's see. How many 7s go into 8? Well, it goes exactly once with a remainder of 1. How many 7s fit into 16? Well, you got 7, 14. So it's 2 times with a remainder of 2 left. Now this is easy. How many 7s go into 28? Well, this is the 7 times table. 7 times 4 gives you 28. So therefore, the original number he chose was 124. That's it. Okay, question 10. So a theme park sells tickets online. Each ticket costs £24, so that's per ticket, yeah? And now there is a £3 charge for buying tickets, probably because you have to buy online. Now, which of these shows how to calculate total cost? Okay, before we even look at this, let's see if we can kind of figure this out before we see the answer. Now, it tells us that each ticket costs £24. So this is basically the number of tickets, let's call it T, times 24. So if you had 2 tickets, it would be 2 times 24. 5 tickets, 5 times 24. Now, and then there is a £3 charge for buying tickets. This is a one-off, so we're just going to add a 3 to it. Now, look at the equations here. So, what do we have? It says number of tickets times 3. Nope, can't be because you're not multiplying by 3. Number of tickets times 24. Add 3. Yeah, I think that's definitely it. Number of tickets plus 3 times 4. Nope, makes no sense. Nope, it makes no sense. So that's the only answer. All right, number 11. So Amina is shopping and she says, I would like to buy 1/4 of a kilogram of cheese. Okay, write 1/4 on the scales as a decimal. All right, so we need to know that 1/4 is basically same as like that, 1/4 or 25%. In other words, 25% of a kilogram is just 0.25. That's it, easy mark. Now the cheese that she's interested in costs £1.35. Amina pays with a £2 coin. How much change should Amina get? So this is just a straight up subtraction. So it's going to be £2, which is 2.00 minus 1.35. If you can do this mentally, that's good. Now to do this one, you have to borrow from the next non-zero number. Well, they're both 0, so borrow from the 2, that becomes a 1. Give it to the next guy, so that becomes a 10. Borrow from this one, becomes a 9. Give him a 1, so now you got this. So you got 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 3 is 6. And 1 take away 1 is nothing. So she should get a change of 65 pence. And that's it. That's done for this question. All right, number 12. So here are 3 symbols. So we've got inequality signs, which is less than, greater than, and equal. Just remember, the one with the pointy bit on the left is a less than, and the one with the open mouth is a greater side then. And this side we call it greater because we look at left to right. All right. Now write one symbol in each box and make the statements correct. Now because we're dealing with fraction and decimal, the best way to do this is to make them look kind of the same. So use the same notation. So I'm going to convert 7/10 as a decimal. We should know instantly that 7/10 is the same as 0.7. And now looking at both of them, we can only compare if they had the same number of decimal places. But this one has 2. To make this one have 2, just stick a 0. And you can clearly see that 70 is way bigger than a 7. So this side must be greater than the right side. Now for the second part, do the same thing. So 23/1000, that's just basically 0.023. Remember, you got 3 zeros, so this means you must have 3 numbers in the decimal place. Now again, comparing with this one, this has 3, this has 2. So stick a 0 to make it balanced. So now you got 230 versus 23. Well, 230 is way bigger and 23 is less. So 23 is less than 230. And that's it. So here is a sketch of a triangle. It is not drawn to scale. So guys, this 8 centimeters here is not actually 8 centimeters in real life. Now draw the full size triangle accurately below. Use an angle measurer, i.e. a protractor, and a ruler. One line has been drawn for you. Okay, so the line they're talking about is right here, yeah? So this is the line they're given. Now, in the question, you'll need to draw 2 things. Firstly, a 35 degrees angle using a protractor, and a right angle, which is 90 degrees, by the way. And then draw these lines. So since we got one piece of the puzzle, the 2 things you must have before we do this question is a ruler, like that, a centimeter ruler, and also a protractor that measures like this. It doesn't matter if it goes from 0 to 180, but it's good if you have a double-sided one. So you got 0 to 180 on this side and 0 to 180 on this side. Trust me, it makes it a lot easier. Now, the first thing you want to do is move your protractor on the line on the left corner here, a bit like that. Make sure the cross matches the edge of the line. So kind of like this. So this is the edge of the line. It should be right there. And then when you do that, mark an X there. And try and find 35 degrees. So 35 degrees should be between 40 and 30, like over here. A bit like that. Try and draw a nice little line or something, yeah? When you do this, the next thing you want to do is just take off your protractor and replace it with a ruler. Try your best to keep it in line with it. So the line is sitting on one part of the ruler and the mark X is over there. And then once you do that, get a pencil and mark all the way across. A bit like that. And then take off your ruler and stick the protractor over here on the other side. And now I want you guys to mark 90 degrees. So nice, beautiful right angle. Because it's already got a 90 line right up, just draw a little box here for right angle. Mark an X there and draw a little line telling you that you did 90 degrees. Like this again. And then take off your protractor across and replace it with a ruler. Okay guys? So with this ruler, once again, draw a line across. A nice sharp line. Like this, and finally just take this off. And voila guys, well done, you did it. Complete the table and round 39,476 to the nearest set of numbers. So to the nearest 10,000, we just have to look at 39,000 and then just look at the 9 in particular because it's before the 30,000 and ask yourself, okay, so 9 is bigger than 5. That means you round this number up by 1. So 3 becomes a 4, so it becomes 40,000. Good. Next, we round to the nearest 1,000. Yep. So we look at the 4 and ask ourselves, okay, that's less than 5, so we don't round. So this stays as 39,000. Okay, so it's still to the nearest 1,000. You've got 9,000 here. And lastly, to the nearest hundreds. So we look at the hundreds column, go to the next one, the 7. Well, 7 is bigger than 5, so it means you've got to round the 4 up. So it's going to be 39,500. And that's it, guys. This is all done. Alright, so here Amina asks 60 children to choose their favorite flavor of jelly. These were her results. So you got a bunch of flavors, 4 different flavors, and these were the number of children who liked each of these 4 flavors, right? What percentage of the 60 children chose orange? Well, we can see there were 15 children who chose orange, and out of 60, we have 15 out of 60. Now, for these kind of questions, it's always good to cancel down the fraction, yeah? So looking up and down, we ask ourselves, all right, what times table are they both in? So we know they're both in a 5 times table. So cancelling both of these by 5, so dividing by 5, we can find that 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. Once again, try and cancel down. Well, they're both in a 3 times table. So dividing both of these by 3, you should get 1 out of 4. And we need to instantly recognize that a quarter is basically 25%. So here they want us to write the missing number in this box. Okay, so to solve a problem like this, we got to use BODMAS, yeah? In some of your schools, you might use the word BIDMAS instead, yeah? So they're essentially the same thing. All you have to realize that order of operation is important, yeah? So first we always look at the brackets or other things, or brackets and indices. Well, we don't have any brackets here, so these two are out of the way. Then we look at division and multiplication first. Well, we have a multiplication. It's 2 times 2, which is 4. And lastly, we do add and subtract. So now that leaves the rest of this. So we now have 6 plus 4 minus something gives us 6. Well, we can say that 6 plus 4 is 10. So now we got 10 minus something gives us 6. Well, we can instantly see that if we move this around, we can say that 10 take away 6 must give us the unknown answer. And well, 10 take away 6 is 4. And that's it. So these two shapes have the same perimeter. Okay, so perimeter means the length around shape. So the total length around the shape. Okay. Now, the length of each side of a hexagon is 8 centimeters. So this is 8, meaning we've got a total of 8 plus another 8 plus 2 more 8s, meaning we've got 6 times 8. So the perimeter of a hexagon would be, well, 8 times 6, it should equal 48. Okay. And since we know that both shapes have the same perimeter, well, we can easily work out a square. Because there's 4 sides, divide this number by 4, you should get 12. So every length is 12. And they both make 48, so that's good. Now, they want us to calculate the area of a square. Well, area of a square is just base times height. Since we know that the base of a square is 12, and its height is 12, meaning we're trying to work out 12 times 12. And that should give us 144 centimeters squared. And that's it, guys. Okay, question 18. Circle the prime number. Okay, so a prime number are numbers that only divide by 1 and itself. So in other words, if it divides by 5 or 3 or anything else, then it isn't prime. So just look at its 3 numbers. Let's check out 95. Is 95 prime? Well, I can see a 5 at the end. So it must be part of the 5 times table, meaning it cannot be prime. So that is no. Now 89. Well, I'm not too sure. It could be. It could be in a 3 times table, or 7 or 9. Well, we'll come back to that. Now how about 87? Well, you got 8 and 7. Well, this one's actually the 3 times table. And how do we know if it's divisible by 3? Well, the trick is if you add the 2 digits, 8 plus 7, you should get 15. And then again, add the 2 digits, you should get 1 plus 5, which is 6. And we can clearly see that 6 and, well, 15 itself are both part of the 3 times table, meaning this number is divisible by 3, meaning it cannot be prime. And therefore, 89 is the only prime number, because actually it's not divisible by anything but 1. And that's it. And then on the next part, it tells us to explain how you know the others are not prime. Well, we just said that 95 is divisible by 5, and 87 is divisible by 3. Well, I can't even spell divisible. Therefore, they are not prime. Yep, and that's it, guys. Simple as that. So a machine pours 250 milliliters of juice every 4 seconds. That's quick. Just let you know, guys. That is super quick. How many liters of juice does a machine pour every minute? Okay, so it looks to me we've got some kind of ratio and proportion question. So let's write these facts down, yeah? So you've got 250 milliliters. That takes 4 seconds. We want to figure out how many liters is poured in every minute. Well, before we get to liters and minutes, let's just convert them for a second, yeah? So a minute, we should already know at this stage that it's the same as 60 seconds. So essentially, we're trying to figure out how many milliliters are there in 60 seconds. And then we could change it to liters. Now, the trick I do is always find 1 second. Always find a single unit. Well, to get 1 second, the only way to go from 4 to 1 is to divide by 4. Meaning we need to divide this number by 4. So 250 by 4. So let's try it here. We can say, all right, 4 into 250. I'm going to scroll this up a bit. Well, how many 4s go into 2? None. So we say, okay, how many 4s are there in 25? How many 4s are in 25? Well, 6, remainder 1. So now we've got 10. So how many 4s are there in 10? Well, there's 2. And it should give us a remainder of 2. But because there's no more spaces, add an extra decimal 0 and put the 2 here. And therefore, we ask ourselves now, how many 4s are there in 20? Well, this divides perfectly and gives you 5. So actually, every second, this machine pours out 62.5 milliliters of juice. So that number I don't quite like. Now here we want to find every minute. And to go from 1 to 60 seconds, we need to multiply this result by 60. So let me just put 62.5 milliliters. And now we're trying to find 60 seconds. Okay, so to do this one, we're going to time this result by 60. So 62.5. And the trick is you could just times it by 6 and then add a 0 later. Times 6. So let's do this. This will be nice and easy now. So 5 times 6 is 30. So 0 carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 is a 15. So 5 carry 1. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 1, 37. And just put the decimal place where it belongs, which is one place after, so here. And since we times it by 6, well, we want actually 60. So times in this result by 10, you're going to get exactly, well, move decimal here, 3,750 milliliters. And we should know that in a liter, there are 1,000 milliliters. So in other words, if you've got 3,000 something milliliters, you're going to have 3.750 liters, or just 7.5. You don't need to write a 0, but you can if you want. So take the fractions that are equal to 20%. Ooh, all right, this is an interesting one. So let's ignore the examples here for a second, yeah? My trick is to firstly figure out what 20% actually is, if you're not too sure. Well, when you want to change a percent to a fraction, the clear way is to know that percent means per 100. So this means 20 per 100, or 20 out of 100. Now all you got to do is simply realize that we can just cancel down this fraction. Well, they both got 0, so let's divide both by 10. So the zeros go, left with 2 out of 10. And then breaking this down further by dividing 2, you can get 1 out of 5. So 20% is 1/5. So looking at all the values here, well, this is one of them. Now, is anything else similar to 1/5 or 20%? Let's have a look. So you got 1 over 20, that does not even look close, so that's false. 20 out of 40, well, cancelling down the 0, you got 2 quarters. Cancelling down, you get a half. Definitely false. 3/15, let's have a look. Dividing both by 3, cancel by 3, you're going to get 1/5. So yes, that's another one. And 2 out of 100, well, that doesn't even look close. Off. So the only two answers are those two. All right, number 21. So this question is arguably one of the trickiest questions that they've ever made in any SATS. And here's why. And let's have a look. So Adam has this rectangular piece of card and it is marked with grid lines. All right, cool. Now Adam decides to make 2 straight cuts along the grid lines. All right. The 2 cuts divide the rectangle into 3 shapes. So here they want us to produce 2 squares of different size and a rectangle. Now use the grid lines. Okay, using the grid lines, draw 2 lines that show where Adam could have made his cuts. Use a ruler. All right, so All right, so this is where things get funny. Now, my advice for these kind of questions, yeah, when they give you something of fixed dimensions like a square, always focus on the square, not the rectangle, because a rectangle could be practically any shape that isn't a square, and you have so many possibilities of rectangles. But for squares, you only have only so much, because they need to be same dimensions. So what I would do is firstly maximize the possibility. Try and make the biggest square you can, and that is a 5 by 5 square. So something like, let's say here, so 5 by 5, so like this. So this is a possible square. Now let's do that. So this is square 1, yeah. Now second square, yeah, so you only got practically one or two options. You can make a 2 by 2 square here, and that's it, and this is square 2. And now they want us to make a rectangle. Well, that's easy. That's just what we have left. So this shape here would be the rectangle, because it has different dimensions to a square. And that's it, guys. We're literally done. All right, 22. So the graph shows the maximum temperature for 5 different days. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and your temperature in Celsius degrees. And here are your 5 temperatures. So it looks to me Friday was the warmest and Monday was the coldest. Now, for the first part, for what fraction of the 5 days was the maximum temperature below 10 degrees Celsius? So in other words, how many were below 10 degrees out of 5 days? Well, we can see that only 2 below are the one from Monday and one from Tuesday, because they're both less than 10. Meaning the fraction would be 2 days out of 5. And yeah, that's it. That's 1 mark for that. Now, what was the mean maximum temperature to 1 decimal place? Okay, so they use the keyword mean. Now, to find the mean, all you gotta do is just add up all of these 5 numbers and then divide it by how many numbers there were. In this case, 5. So let's do it. So I'm gonna do a little column then, yeah. So put up from biggest to smallest. You got 12.4 plus 11.8. Okay, 11.9 there. Plus 9.3 and 8.1. So it doesn't really make a difference, but it's good to do in order. Personally, this 2 should be other way around. So adding these numbers carefully, we should get the following. So you got 4 plus 8 is 12, and you can say 9 plus 1 is 10, which add to 12 makes 22, add 3 is 25. So do in any order you want, guys, yeah? 5 carry the 2, and let's do this one. 2 plus 2 is 4, add 1 is 5, 6, and a 6 plus 9 is 15. 15 add 8 is 23. So 3, carry the 2. And again, last set of numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3, 4, 5. So it's 53.5 in total. Now the mean wants us to divide that by 5. So on the side, you got 5 into 53.5. So I can already see it's going to give you a nice answer, because the last number is 5. So 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 3 you can't do, so 0 carry the 3. 5 into 35 is just 7. So that's it. So the mean temperature was 10.7 degrees Celsius across 5 days. If you got this all right, you're going to get 3 marks in total. And here we go, guys, the final question of the paper. So if you guys have reached this far, once again, give yourself a pat on the back, because you guys did amazing, yeah? So let's finish this off and see what Amin and Stefan have done. Well, Amina made this cuboid using centimeter cubes. All right, so here's our cuboid with dimensions 4 by 6 by 3. Now, Stefan decides to make a cuboid which is 5 centimeters longer, taller, and even wider. So it's way bigger cuboid. What is the difference between the number of cubes in Amina's and Stefan's cuboids? Okay, so to work out the number of cubes, they're literally trying to say calculate the volume and then subtract them for both of them. So we can say, all right, let's look at the volume for Amina's cubes, yeah? We're going to call volume of Amina, VA. This is basically 4 times 6 times 3. And, well, working that out, that's not too bad. I always do the 2 biggest numbers first. So 4 times 6 is 24. And then times that by 3, well, you can do this fast. 2 times 3 is 6, which is 60. Plus 4 times 3, which is 12. Add them up, you get 72. So that's the size of Amina's cubes. Now for the volume of Stefan's cubes, so VS, he said that each side is 5 centimeters longer, taller, and wider, meaning 4 add 5 to it makes 9, by add 5 to 6 gives us 11, and add 5 to 3 gives us 8. So that's, okay, that's a much bigger number. So let's work this out. So you got 9 times 11 is 99, times 8. Oh man, that's a big number. So let's work out using another way, yeah? So 99 times 8. Oh, this is easy. They're both 72, isn't it? So 9 times 8 is 72, so 2 carry the 7. This is 72 again. Add 7 gives us 79. Alright, looks good. Looks decent. So, okay, wow, that's way bigger, man, that volume. So therefore, we want to work out the difference between two of these values, between 72 and 792. So it's going to be now, let me change color pen, 792 minus 72. So subtracting, okay, this is easy. 2 take away 2 is nothing, 9 take away 7 is 2, 7 take away nothing is 7. And that's it. So I guess the difference is 720. Hey guys, fun fact. So just look at these numbers. You can see all of these are divisible by 9. Why? Because you got 7 plus 2 is 9, divisible by 9. 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 9 is 18. Add up the 1 and 8, that also makes 9. And 7 plus 2 plus 0 is also 9. So yeah. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you guys enjoyed the video, give me a like, share, subscribe with your friends.